At this point, I would like to invite Mike Murphy to the stage to present our national anthem.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Rock and Roll Geezer Show, your weekly rock news update show here. I'm your host, Murph, and hey, we got quite a show this week. We're going to be talking about the Back to the Beginning Black Sabbath show that we watched. It was pretty interesting. We'll talk about that quite extensively on this show. Talk about AI getting in the way. Just like I predicted, AI is going to be a real problem. And we have to touch on that Bob Vylans controversy, if you will, over there in London and England and Europe and whatnot. And, a little, some new Foo Fighters song we're going to be talking about. And, boy, Gene Simmons, don't ever give him an idea or he's probably going to run with it. And we got one that's a real doozy. We need to touch base on. But let me talk to my co-host first. There, that would be from Aurora, Illinois. That would be Doc Box. What's going on, Doc?
Boy, what a rocking weekend, huh? Man, the Back to the Beginning. I think it was it lived up to the hype, man. To be honest with you, I think it's pretty good. We'll get into all that, but yeah, thanks for stopping by, everybody. You picked a good week to stop by. We got a lot of good ones. Really, we got like 3 stories that could be headline story, the lead stories, but a couple were kind of on the cusp of the news cycle last week, so you may have gotten word of those, but we'll give you our take on them anyway. And the much anticipated, long awaited, often talked about Back to the Beginning concert came off, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, man. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was quite something else. The whole concert was about, I think it was 8 hours and 35 minutes long, from beginning to end. And sadly, I couldn't watch the whole thing, but we watched about from halfway on. And I watched some of the earlier stuff later on since I was able to watch for the next 48 hours. And yeah, that was pretty good. It started out with Mastodon, boy, we'll discuss things later. They played Supernaut. Supernaut. Yeah, I had Danny Carey on drums and everything, and that was very cool. You know, he did 3 songs. Supernaut being the first one. It seems like at the beginning there, each band got not an awful lot of time. 15 minutes maybe, and then they had a 7-minute turnaround. But it worked out pretty well. Rival Sons, they were up next, and they kicked out Electric Funeral.
Yeah,
Quite
check that one
honestly,
out. They did a pretty good job on that. Yeah.
they did a good job. It's not one of my favorite Sabbath tunes. It's just sort of wow, 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 wow. It's like a funeral, man.
So
And
like
then
an electric funeral.
and then Anthrax. Oh, they got the joy. They got the biggie. They got the do Into the Void. That's one of my favorite Sabbath songs. As a matter of fact, we actually play. I attend a couple of open mics around here, and then we actually play that song. I love it, man. Yeah, I play bass on it, which is very, very much fun. So Anthrax, they kicked out Into the Void. And then next up is Hailstorm. Hailstorm, yeah, yeah. Hailstorm did Perry Mason. Perry Mason. Mason. Yeah, yeah. And boy, she's got the best screaming voice ever. Lizzie Hale. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, she did a good job on that. Lamb of God followed that up with Children of the Grave. Each band's basically getting 3 songs. So yeah, Lamb of God followed up with Children of the Grave. Kicked ass on that, of course. Uh Randy, what's his name? Shaved his head. He's got no more hair. It's pretty
Oh,
crazy.
Randy Blythe. Yeah.
Randy Blythe, yeah, shaved his
Yeah, I
head.
never
Yeah.
cared for them. That's a little
A
too
little
much
too
for me,
much.
but yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
And then came the supergroup A. And this was quite an undertaking. They did like, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 songs at the supergroup thing. Ultimate Sin with Lizzie, Nuno, Jakey Lee, Dave Ellison, Mike Borden, and Adam Wakeman. Adam Wakeman. I imagine that's Rick's son. I gotta imagine. I'm guessing, but I'm guessing Adam Wakeman is a keyboardist and he's probably Rick Wakeman's son. Then we had Shot in the Dark with Dave Draymond. Uh-oh. Well, here was the first little ditty because he got some booze when he was introduced. He got some booze, and I'm sorry, man, but he got
You
all
got booze,
political.
not booze like in drink, booze as in yeah, BOOS.
Well,
Yeah.
jeez, I'm looking at a picture of him right here. He's signing bombs. He's putting a signature on bombs. The actual bombs
Right.
that are being shown. Ah, jeez. So, and he came out with the Star of David, and it seems like that's like bad news these days, which is really sad. But he got some booze, and he did a Shot in the Dark, which I thought was a cool song. That was one of Ozzy's good MTV classics, if you
I
will.
don't know. I thought a little ironic, Jakey Lee doing "Shot in the Dark" after what happened to him in Vegas in there, but apparently he's past that, and
He was
I don't
shot in
know.
the dark.
He was
Wasn't
shot
he
in the
walking his
dark, man.
dog at 3 in the morning or something like that?
Yeah, yeah.
If I recall, yeah, yeah. So then they did the Sweet Leaf with Draymond singing, and I don't know his voice I can do without, but
Yeah,
what
one of
can
the
you do?
great Sabbath songs, but yeah, it kind of fell a little flat to me. But yeah,
Yeah, believer with Whitfield Crane. Where the hell, Whitfield? Wow, ooh, wow. And some other people, Sleep Token Dude, Frank Bello. And then changes come up with Young Blood. Huh? There you go. Young Blood, Nuno
yeah, that one's
Betancourt.
being talked about a lot. Is the
Yeah.
the performance of at least the first half of the show, anyway. And a lot of people are saying one of the best performances they ever seen, but I don't know about that. But
Ah,
yeah, it kicked it out pretty good.
you've never seen Sammy
None,
do Candyman, brother. All right. All right. We'll leave it at that. Anyway, and then moving on, we got to
Frank
move. We
do it
got
my way.
so much to talk about. We got a movie on Mr. Crowley with none other than Jack Black. And then he had Revel Ian, which must be Scott Ian's son, Roman Morello, which must be Dave Morello's son, and other young
Tom
musicians.
Morello.
That was our Tom Morello. That was what was they? Dave. What the whatever. Yeah, and a bunch of young kids and whatnot. And so that's super group number one.
Yeah, that was a
Coming up,
video. They were doing Mr. Crowley, and of course
yeah,
he's doing it all Jack Blacked up, as he
Oh
does it,
yeah.
But yeah, whatever.
Okay, yeah, and then Alice in Chains comes out. Yes, indeed. They fired up 3 songs and ended with Fairies Wear Boots. Done that song too. Very cool. Very cool. And then Gojira. Gojira. Remember them from the Olympics? Yeah, they rocked out at the Olympics. They did 4 songs actually. So now they're stepping up. And the last song being Under the Sun. Not to be confused with Under the Sea from that movie. I don't know. Under the Sea. Who was that? Best
Little
Littlest
Mermaid.
Mermaid. Oh, I don't know
Yeah.
that. But Under the Sun they did, and then came the drum off. Wow. So the drum off. So what they had is had Tom Morello, Nuno Betancourt, and Sarzo on bass, and they were the guitarists for Chad Smith, Travis Barker, and Danny Carey for Symptom of the Universe. So that was a drum off there. And I don't know, could have found a better song, maybe. I don't know. But nonetheless, it was very cool, very cool. Then a super
Yeah, I
group.
didn't do that much for me,
Then
but it
here
was
we
all
go.
right.
Here's why I have issues. Super group two. Super group two comes up, and they do Breaking the Law with Billy Corgan. This is a metal. He's not metal. That a lot of people are saying, what the hell are these people? They're not metal, and it's true. And
Well, he's
there's
still invited, man. He's there. I mean, what else?
But well, people are gonna bitch. He's not metal. He's like new
I wouldn't say
wave
Alice in
crap.
Chains are metal or Guns N'
That
Roses aren't metal,
that's
but I mean,
true. Well, there's people that were bitching. It's like this is metal. They got their genre.
that's
What the
true,
hell are
man.
they doing at our genre? And there's a bunch of metal guys that could have
He's
been
there at the
there.
show.
That
That's what
should
he's
have
there to
been there.
do is perform. Man, what do
But
you? Yeah.
they did Breaking the Law. Oh yeah, KK showed up. Sure, just going nuts on the wah wah and the whammy bar, which he always seems to do these days. And then they did Snowblind. Love that song. Flying High Again. Sammy Hagar. He didn't know the lyrics to start out with. People were pointing that out. Hey, Sammy didn't even learn the damn song. Although a lot of them used what is it, a lyrics prompter. Looks like a stage monitor, but it actually prompts the lyrics, so they don't even have to memorize the lyrics. They're right there. And then they brought out Steven Tyler or Bark at the Moon. About Rock Candy with Sammy, of course. Bark at the Moon with Papa V Perpetua. That's a ghost. That's that ghost dude, no doubt. Vernon Reed. Vernon Reed from where? Vernon Reed.
From
Hello.
Living Color.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Adam Wakeman again. Yeah. Train kept rolling with Steven Tyler, Ron Wood. That was crazy. Yeah. Ron Wood looked totally out of place. That's a far cry from hard
Oh,
rocking,
Ron Wood's not metal, but come on,
Yeah,
no,
but boy, he
to me,
was
it's a bunch of
way up.
crap.
Well, he was.
They're all there. Sabbath touched them and influenced their careers, and
I'm gonna say he was out of place with a bunch of hard rock and metal guys, and here's Ron Wood, who's not a hard rock and metal, and it just looked totally like, what the hell am I doing here? And then they
they're
did
all
Walk
paying
This Way.
homage to Sabbath, so it's all good.
Then they did Walk This Way, a whole lot of Rosie, Steven Tyler, and all them guys. So that was super group two. And then Pantera, ouch. Pantera come up. Their Sabbath song was Electric Funeral. And yeah, again, whatever. I hate that. Not real big on that song. But Tool after that, Hand of Doom. Yeah, yeah. And it's weird because we had this conversation how they didn't probably we don't see a lot of videos of them, and they we were both surprised that they actually allowed it to be shown on
Well, we'll
telly
get
there.
into the whole thing where Sharon says she kicked somebody off of the bill, and then people were saying that it was Tool because they were taken off of the poster for the streaming, and then it was brought up, well, Tool doesn't allow their performances to be streamed, but then they did. They were there,
Yeah,
so they were
yeah.
on. So I don't know, whatever. But
Yeah. So they got done there, and then Slayer came on and did 6 songs. Probably not full songs, but Wicked World was their Sabbath song, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Guns N' Roses next. They did 5 songs. That was good to see. Axl was probably, and I hate the internet sucks so much because I've seen pictures of the Axl, which obviously have been touched by AI with the big gut and everything. And he came out actually looking like the CSI Miami David Caruso. I mean, he had that look going on. He was fairly thin. His singing wasn't too shabby. Some people complained about it online, but
A lot
for
of
the
people
most
are
part,
complaining about it. Some of my
yeah,
friends are saying, "Oh man, with the Guns N' Roses, the actual was horrible." But other than that, but I don't know. I thought he brought it pretty good, or maybe
yeah.
just my expectations were lower. I don't know, but
Yeah. Well, at
yeah.
their age, I'm surprised they can do anything. But they
And
did
to
that.
me, they had the best set because they had 4 Sabbath songs, and there were some deep cuts in there, man. They were off of "Never Say Die" and stuff, and
Right.
of course they did "Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath." That's the shit right there.
They did
So I don't,
Welcome to
I
the
really love their
Jungle,
set.
Paradise City, and Junior's Eyes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they did pretty dang good.
Started
And
out
then,
with 4 Sabbath, finished up with 2 of their own, and yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah,
like the Guns N' Roses set. To tell you the truth,
yeah. Metallica, Hole in the Sky. Yeah. There you go. That's a great song. But they got to do, 6 songs. Yeah. Just Hole in the Sky, and the rest was theirs. Bell Tolls, Battery, Master of Puppets, yada yada yada. Then came on the big boy. Yeah, Ozzy. Ozzy, come on. Very cool entrance coming up through the floor. Boom. Yeah, yeah, had his throne coming up through the floor. You can see he was in rough shape, but he soldiered on, man. He did I don't know, Mr. Crowley, Suicide Solution, Mama, I'm Coming Home, and Crazy Train. And Mama, I'm Coming Home. That sucker hit the crowd hard, man. Right?
yeah, 5 songs. We thought he was just gonna do 5, period, but no, just 5 for the Ozzy set. Suicide Solution was kind of an odd one to put in there. I thought the other 4 we gonna fit right in, but yeah, Mama Coming Home, Mama I'm Coming. Everyone a dry eye in the house, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean
Wow.
Ozzy pulled it off, man. I mean it was kind of heartbreaking watching him because he wanted to stand up so
Oh
bad.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
kept thinking, is he going to
Oh,
do it? Is he going to do it? And he so badly wanted to. You could see
yeah.
him,
Oh
he'd
yeah.
pull himself up a little bit and then he'd go back
Uh,
down, but
gosh.
never did stand up. So,
No, no, no.
but
And yeah, so he did 5 songs that are very cool. And then Sabbath come on, and they ended up doing 4 songs. Very cool. War Pigs, of course. Got to do War Pigs, man. And the lyrics still fit today. Those jerks. NIB, Iron Man, and Paranoid. And boy, oh boy, I tell you, it was a doozy of a show. And yeah, the stage was on a turntable. So the band would be on half the stage, and they had a backdrop. They had a backdrop that would raise up, and then they'd turn the stage. The backdrop would come back down and lock in, so that nobody could see what's going on behind this front of the stage. And I'd love to see a video of the backstage. Oh, because they only had like 30
they'll probably
minutes
have
tops.
something, if
30
not
minutes.
already.
They they had like 30 minutes tops to move that the band off and put the new band on, mic'd up, boom, ready to go. That had to be a real feat, man, a real logistical nightmare. But boy, they pulled it off. They'd turn around and some groups would have a single row of Marshall bottoms all the way across the stage. Some groups would just have a couple of little amps. I mean, the oh, it had to be a nightmare back there. I hope there is a video that shows up about that. And
Yeah,
another thing that people are talking about is uh, the guitars were all out of tune.
you were commenting on that throughout the
Wasn't
show.
I? Wasn't I? Duh.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Well, let me say, we did a job last week in 93-degree weather, and my Strat kept going out of tune. And finally, Jeff, the drummer, says, "Hey, just pick up your purple guitar." It doesn't matter. They're all going out of tune. Went and saw a band Saturday, and their guitars wouldn't stay in tune. And then, sure enough, yeah, the guy pointing out how all the guitars uh, have were basically out of tune. And yeah, I said, there it is, man. I told you, yeah. But yeah, and I don't know why. The guy probably was saying, the guy was thinking, well, here, let me see. Kicking Herald writes, I can't believe how many guitars have been out of tune so far during the Back to the Beginning concert. Makes me think all the bands used the same guitar tech and something went really wrong backstage. Jake E. Lee could barely get through Shot in the Dark, and you could tell he was really frustrated. So, man, luckily, Sam and Tony Iommi didn't appear to have any problems, but yeah, most of the guitarists in that in that uh, in that concert were having tuning issues. Oh, how frustrating is that, brother? Jeez. And I was pointing it out. Doc was probably getting pretty fed up at some point of me pointing it out. Yeah, there's another out of tune guitar, and it's usually the G string. I don't know why. Well, yeah, I do know why. Because the G string's like the redheaded stepchild of the family of strings. So it is what it is. But yeah, that was very, very cool nonetheless. And Sharon before the concert was making a lot of comments, like, don't give Ozzy basically like don't give Ozzy shit and stuff like that. What did you read into it, dude?
Yeah, she kind of put something out about if he sounds bad, don't be too hard on him or whatever. But I don't think anybody expected any miracles, and I think everybody was fine with how he sounded. I
Yeah.
don't think there's any issues with that at all. So I mean, yeah, everybody,
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
said, during the mom was coming home, they wanted a dry alley in the house, and so he did something right. So.
No, it was really put together well, and the fact that he did 9 songs, it gave it his all. Bill Ward, he struggled. I noticed that. Noticed on, I can't remember if it was War Pigs or something. He was way out of sync. He was keeping a beat, but he was missing something, and then he brought it in late. And I recognize this crap. Maybe nobody else didn't. It doesn't
That's
really
why he had to
matter.
take his shirt off.
I saw that was, yeah, yeah. You're no Iggy Pop, dude. With
Right?
Quado popping out of your belly there. But
That's metal, man.
yeah, yeah.
How
It
old is
was.
he? 79 years old. Bill Ward back there shirtless, damn near naked,
Uh,
just taking care of business, man.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
looked like the Lord of the Rings. It's really wild. But yeah, it was a pretty cool time, man. I must say, I gotta give them big props. Big,
So yeah, there's all the other kind of peripheral stuff. We talked about who was the band that got kicked off, and Sharon said she wouldn't say who it was after the event. Well, she hasn't done that yet, but there's speculation and just going to some of the bands that weren't there. Judas Priest, they're out touring, and
right?
they did a War Pigs. They did a video of War Pigs
Oh
at a
yeah,
show.
and that
So that
was
was
pretty
kind of
good. I
yeah,
listened
that
to
was
it.
their kind of contribution to it, I guess. For they couldn't be there.
Yeah,
Alex and Getty from Rush, they had been talked to and everything, and
we
then said they had other things to do.
we
So
talked about them turning it down. You
yeah,
know, and at the time I commented, they probably figured it was going to be a train wreck. Well, surprisingly, it wasn't. They did it really well, but nonetheless, oh well. They did.
I couldn't see them being the guys that wanted money, though. I couldn't see them being the guys. And then we know about Wolfgang because he's got the
Creed
Creed
thing going
thing on
on.
on the heels of that. But
Mm.
the other band was a Soundgarden who is out for unknown reasons. So kind of sounds
Oh,
like they are the prime suspects right now. Would be Soundgarden,
I
but
don't know. Maybe some of the guys need the money. I don't know.
we'll see.
Because it was a charity thing. So
All
it was
right.
a charity event. So yeah, the people weren't expected to make money. It was a big party. You could tell. I imagine backstage had to be crazy. You know,
Oh yeah,
a
you see
lot
some
of
of those videos, a little bit of more of like when they were first meeting up at the rehearsals and stuff, and they were
Ben
taking up.
Gay.
You seen some of the pictures where there's like a dozen metal gods there, in the picture.
A lot of
It's like or more.
Metamucil and Ben Gay and stuff,
Right?
for the aches and pains. God, I would be. Man, I'm a wreck when I'm done. Jeez. But yeah,
Balance of nature going on there.
too damn expensive. I actually looked into that. It's like $100 something a month. I ain't got that kind.
What?
Yeah, yeah, that ain't cheap. It ain't cheap. You just got to eat right, I guess. So I got my balance in nature. You jerks.
Oh, also, I don't know if you saw.
Wow.
We all know that Kelly Osbourne is her baby daddy is Sid from was it Sid Wilson is his last name
Yes, sir.
from Slipknot, and he proposed to her there at the event at the end of the event. Proposed to Kelly, which I'm sure she accepted, and now they'll
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
go and live
yeah.
happily ever after.
And they had Ozzy there in the
Ozzy's
picture in
thinking,
the
"What, you trying to
background.
upstage me?"
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I thought they were already married. So hey, what do I know? But good for them. Freaking a, good for them. Whatever. I don't know. She probably got a proper face for another 30 years or so before it starts falling apart like Sharon's. So
Well, like I said,
deal
he's
with
from
it.
Slipknot, so he's got plenty of masks laying
Oh,
around
yeah.
to take care of business.
Yeah, they'll I won't. Well, should I say? Yeah, maybe they'll make one of their masks after her eventual face.
I'm not wearing that thing. That's way too. I'll wear
Hey,
this other stuff, but that's
that's my
way out
wife.
there.
Oh, jeez. But in any
But
case, yeah,
no,
it was a good
pretty good
concert.
event, man. I mean,
And I heard he's still gonna make music and stuff. He's still talking about maybe me.
yeah.
They ought to just stop now. All right, yeah, because he got through the songs, but it was rough. And I thought that they had some kind of vocal thing on the vocals because I saw some fan recorded videos and his voice was a lot rougher than I saw.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
so I wonder if they had something on his voice or something because it
yeah.
was
If on the
weird.
broadcast they sweeten it up somehow or something. Yeah,
Somehow
I
they
wondered
did
that
because
too.
we looked at each other like, "Oh, he sounds great," but then I'm
Yeah,
watching these fan videos. It's like, "Oh my God, he's
yeah,
not
same.
great at all. His singing is not great at all." Oh, whatever.
Yeah, and there's some stuff going on about at the end of the show. They stopped and then they got the fireworks going. It's
Oh
like at
yeah.
the end of the Olympics or something. There's all these fireworks going off, and then Ozzy was just left on stage.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
while they had the camera back for the fireworks, they had a little mini, I don't know what you call it, ceremony, I guess. The geezer and Tony brought him out a cake, but none of that was
But
televised on the
well,
stream.
exactly.
So
Yeah, the part we saw is yeah. They come together. Ozzy's on the throne. Geezer and Tony come. They wave, and then Geezer and Tony leave, and Ozzy's just sitting there. And then the screen fades to black. It's like really. And it turns
well, it goes
out,
to the
yeah.
fireworks.
And then everybody's like, so they just that's how it ends. They just leave Ozzy there. How dare they? Turns out they really screwed this up. They should have played the whole thing because Geezer and Tony went back, but then they came back. They shook Ozzy's hand, and they went back. Then Geezer got a big cake and brought it out for Ozzy. None of that was shown on the
Right.
stream. So everybody thought, oh, gee, just left Ozzy again. See ya, see ya, Oz.
There's
Yeah,
a
been
part
good
where
to
they come back to the effing stage. Yeah.
Gee. But yeah, it was it was a really really well done production. So I got to give them kudos on that. Just to
Yeah,
put
no, I
that
thoroughly
together,
enjoyed
to
watching it.
put that together, 8.5 hours.
Thank
Ugh.
you for hosting the event. That was quite enjoyable, man. It was all
All
right.
right, man. Yeah, well, that's all we got to say about them. Oh yeah, we're gonna move on. Wow, that was crazy. That was a crazy concert, but we got to move on. Here's something. I knew AI would be an issue. Speaking of AI, you want to see some faces that you just want to punch? There they are right there. Look at that. That is Velvet, what are they called? Sundown. Velvet Sundown. Look at them. You could punch each one of them gladly, and you would feel good going home. 'Cause it's just the way it is. And they're called Sundown, and they're accused of being completely AI generated. And lo and behold, well, wait a while, they've got over 300,000 monthly listeners. They've released their first two albums, and wow, and as pointed out on a Reddit post, there is not a shred of evidence on the internet that this band has ever existed. Yeah, and sure enough, there they are. It's all AI. You called it, Doc. You were the one who brought this to my attention. And we talk about how AI is going to really screw everything up, everything, and music especially. And this is a good example of that because people figured it out, but eventually, don't you think, Doc, that AI is going to get so good that we ain't going to be able to figure it out? Jeez.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, this band, like I said, you got a 500,000 monthly listeners. Um, Listen to this song, Dust on the Wind. Right there, it kind of tells you something.
Yeah, I
You
listened
listen
to that.
to it, it's very, the cliches, the themes are very
Generic.
cliche, kind of, yeah. Just so, I mean, to say like you're going to be following an artist and they're just putting out AI, there's nothing to follow. They don't evolve. There's nothing there to, get into as an artist. They might have a song or two that actually comes out okay, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It
I think
just,
it's just going to screw everything up. It's just going to screw
I was
everything up.
watching, I don't know, many of our viewers watch Rick Beato. He's a pretty good YouTube channel. And he broke it down. He got like I don't know how you do it, but like on the Pro Tools, Pro Logic, or whatever, and he can break down the tracks. He can
Right.
separate the tracks, vocals, every track. And he played. I can't remember the song he played, but to show what it normally would sound like. And then when you do it with the AI, it takes a fine ear. I mean, it's not super obvious, but you can hear the overlays, the little where there's not that separation that you would have in a normal normal track. So
Oh, okay.
it's kind of
Okay.
a way to tell. I mean, it's not easy, and you got to have the equipment to do it in the ear to hear it. But yeah,
Well,
this is an AI thing. To me, where's the money going? Who's getting paid? Where's I don't
somebody fired up the
right.
AI to make it, but it says here the band's music has been added to what appears to be botted playlists. Botted meaning bots. Botted
Right.
playlists, which is gaining them so many streams and consequently making them show up on people's Discover Weekly playlists. Wow. See,
Yeah, I don't get
the
all that.
manipulation is just going to get out of control.
Right. They're gonna force feed you this crap. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because once people themselves learn how to manipulate AI and they're going to manipulate us. Yeah, I hate it all, man. I hate it all. I think we should have stopped at LPs and technology wise, you stop at LPs. Perfect. Don't need CDs. We don't. Or from there, it was
Nothing digital. Yeah, nothing
from
digital, man.
LPs. It was basically 8 tracks.
MP3s and
Well, and no, it went to 8 tracks. I remember that. But then 8 tracks. Then the cassette. When the cassette came out, that was a
oh, you're
real
going even
big.
back further. Okay,
That
yeah.
was a real. Well, I'm an older guy, so the cassettes was a real big deal. That boy, that was a nice. Have the cassette pack with however many albums you wanted. And then of course a CD. Yeah, wow, wow. Ugh. And then just went downhill once it went
Did
digital.
you ever know anybody have a reel to reel?
Oh yeah, I had a reel-to-reel one.
Did you?
Sure, yeah.
I mean,
I
did you
know my
like buy
buddy
stuff
John
on reel
still
to
has
reel or
one.
just record it or?
No, no, you never buy reel-to-reels. You always just use it to record. You
Uh,
know, 10 hours
well,
of
they
music.
you could buy certain albums or whatever. But
No, that wouldn't make sense. No, it probably cost more than an album anyway. But we, well,
they always said like the ones from the '50s were the best because they had the big thick tape, big heavy thick tape, and then as the decades went on, it just got cheaper and cheaper. But if you got the reel to reel with the tape from the '50s, that's like the best sound quality. That's like the top notch. So
well, the same with
for what it's
albums.
worth,
The old albums were so thick. Really,
Right.
you could put them on a wheel and chop your cold cuts with them, for Christ's sakes. I mean, they were bad to the bone. So yeah, but no, and now we got into AI. Now, you have to guess. And really, any regular Joe can just have AI fire up music now. So I mean, it's diluting creativity, really, really sadly. What do you do about it, man? It's technology. That's what they want. Give me the '60s and '70s any
Well,
day.
this kind of ties in even with the concert, the Back to the Beginning concert. I'm reading a lot of the comments. Oh, they sounded terrible. They didn't do it. I think these kids are just so spoiled, having listened to the perfectly crafted, pro tooled everything and
Uh-huh.
auto tuned and everything. There's no,
Yeah, yeah,
human quality to it. It's all just cookie cutter, robotic stuff. I guess so that's what they're used to hearing. So if you actually hear a wrong inflection, oh my God, see, he's horrible. Well,
yeah.
no,
No, no, it's real.
he's singing
That's
with
it's
emotion,
real.
man.
Yeah, yeah, and you're right because like Pro Tools, when I recorded on Pro Tools, I recorded quite a bit, as you know, and I always used a click track, so everything was precise. Whereas real musicians out there, the drummer may lag a little bit or something to give it a little more kick or
Yeah.
and you can't do that on when you're playing to a click, you can't feel. You just gotta play to the actual click because when you're not playing to a click, you can it's yeah, it's a lot better. I'm not big on clicks. Sorry, man, I'm just not.
Not just the feel,
Uh,
man. It's just where some shows are great, some maybe a little not so much, and just
Speaking of great
the human
shows,
part of it, is all being
speaking
taken out.
yeah, speaking of great shows and shows that are not so much. Here's a guy right here. Call him Bob Villain. Well, I guess it's a group. It's two guys, I guess.
Two guys, yeah.
Bob Villain. And boy, did he get himself into deep water. Jiminy creepers. First of all, he appeared at the legendary Glastonbury Festival. And we talk about this a lot. It's probably the biggest festival in the world. Huge, hugely large. And he performed, they're a punk duo. Yeah, yeah. He performed on the West Holt stage and he led the crowd through a chant of death to the IDF and free Palestine and from the river to the sea. And those are highly charged phrasings there. Highly, highly charged. And
To a
the
group of what, 80,000, whatever it is. Yeah,
oh, geez. Yeah. And the BBC let it air. They didn't shut it off, and they criticized. They apologized afterwards, but a little late from that. Uh, where they wrote the BBC the anti-Semitic sentiments, which is what they were, expressed by Bob Villain, were utterly unacceptable and have no place on our airwaves. This is after they aired it. Well, thanks BBC. We appreciate that, but that created a lot of problems for him. Number one, the he was going to do a tour here in the States, probably make a whole bunch of money. Got his visas yanked, you know,
immediately.
immediately. Well, you got
Yeah, oh,
to.
yeah.
You can't have, you can't come over here and spew hate. We got enough freaking problems in this country as it is. We can't have some jerk off from England coming over here and spewing more freaking hate when we can
That's exactly
stop him.
right.
Go, just stay there and spew it. We got enough freaking problems here. God Almighty. So yeah, he lost that, and here's an article right here where uh, the Manchester's Radar Festival says it was forced to cancel the Bob Villain set. Well, boy, they're between a rock and a hard place. If they let them play, oh boy, what do you, what what do you, what's the solution? Is there any solution to that, Bob?
These bands have
Doctor,
been canceled for less, man. We got
jeez,
them, and we got that band we talked about too, Kneecap. I guess they
you
kind
can.
of showed their ass too at the Glastonbury. So between the two of them, they're calling for killing MPs, which is like the I guess the British equivalent of a congressperson, members of parliament. They call them
Yeah,
MPs.
yeah.
So they're calling for killing them. It's just and to me, the BBC's airing this. They have some responsibility, I believe.
Right.
I mean, you can't just I mean, yeah, it's live, but there's potential for this. You got to have that
A sensor. Got to have a
whatever it is,
sensor
2 minute
there.
delay, whatever it is,
Yeah,
and,
you
and
got to have
and be
that.
prepared for something like that.
Yeah.
They just aired, and the thing was too, like you mentioned, they pulled his visa to come over here. That was done immediately. They didn't even think about starting to investigate into this till like the next day or two. So why did it take them so long to even think that it was worth even looking into? I mean, everybody saw it. You knew what the guy
Yeah.
was doing.
Well,
And,
from the
and,
river
and
to
the
the
part that
sea.
kind of disgusted me of it is like, oh, he's up there chanting free Palestine, whatever. But
Right.
then he goes, have you heard this one? Death to the IDF. And just the ways, have you heard this one? Like it's a game. Like
Yeah.
here's the new extreme way we're gonna show our hatred. Have you heard this one? You know what I mean? Just it just struck me
Well, the
in a
idea.
way.
Well, the IDF. Every Israeli is they have to serve in the IDF. They have to serve
Exactly
in the
right. Yeah.
forces. Every Israeli has to. So, and then from the river to the sea, that basically means wiping out Israel. So, I hate when they do this crap. Especially a big situation like this. So, he got all the attention he wanted, but and apparently his music is streaming numbers are going through the roof now. Of course,
Of
it's
course.
like, geez, really, this is not something to be celebrated and cheered upon. The things he said, and yeah, so he's been kicked out of the Radar Festival too, and you just can't do that. I'm all for free
And you know
speech,
what?
but when you're inciting stuff like this, that's you're not having fun anymore.
And not only
You're
that, but just the bad taste of it, doing it at a music festival where a lot of them
yeah.
died on October 7th. That was at a
Oh
music
my God.
festival.
Yes,
Kids were just
yes.
there enjoying themselves exactly like they're doing there. And they kind of do it there. I mean, I get that that's his form to do it, but
Jeez,
I don't know.
that
It just kind
just
of leaves a bad taste in your mouth, man. It's just all the way around.
it truly does.
So,
It truly
you know
does.
what it is? It's every generation's got to be more extreme. You know what I mean? More extreme than the last one, and so their hatred has to be more, everything has to be more extreme. And now
Yeah.
we've gotten to this point where, this guy can get up there and spew that hatred and everybody's like cheering him and chanting
Yeah.
with him. And,
What a shame. Well, good luck. Stay out of the U.S. We got enough trouble as it
yeah,
is. So
yeah,
let's
we don't
move
need it.
on. Here we go. Here's the name we all know the food fighters. The food fighters. I love saying that, man. No, so Foo Fighters. Yeah, they got a new song out by golly. Oh, cramping my leg there. But yeah.
Heard on
They've
the
got a new.
radio today.
Did ya the new original
Yeah.
called "Today's Song," which it precedes the 30th anniversary of the Dave Grohl led band's self-titled debut album on July 4th. So how about that? So good for him. It's the group's first fresh music since the release of 2023's "But Here We Are" and drummer Josh Freese's sudden departure earlier this year. So yeah, there you go, man. Looked like they're going to be firing things back up. Apparently, he played the drums on this new song.
Yeah, that
From
would be the
what?
big question everybody had: who was the drum? Well, of course, Dave just took care of it on the record, but
Yeah.
no drummer announced for any live
Or
shows
anything
yet.
yet? Yeah. What a shame. But yeah, so he talks about the band and the situation that he's been in, saying, he talks about Hawkins says, your name is spoken every day, sometimes with tears, sometimes with a smile, but you are still in everything we do, everywhere we go, forever. The enormity of your beautiful soul is only rivaled by the infinite longing we feel in your absence. We all miss you beyond words. Foo Fighters will forever include Taylor Hawkins in every note that we play until we do finally reach our destination. Yeah. So they're returning to the road on October 2nd in Jakarta. And they still haven't named their drummers. So maybe he should get together with Sharon and they could just scheme their little schemes. I'm not going to tell him who wouldn't play at the thing, and I'm not going to
Yeah.
tell him who the drummer is. And like, I don't
Oh
care,
yeah.
Sharon. Hey, who cares? Nobody cares at this point. Just play any stupid
Yeah.
freaking
If she keeps the
games.
secret much longer, everybody's just gonna forget about it.
Yeah,
Nobody's gonna
whatever.
care. Yeah.
Who cares? Nobody cares at this point. Sharon. So there you go. Yeah, the food fighters. Yeah, they're back out. getting their stuff together. Oh, this is story. There it is. Where is it? Let me get out of the way here. This story is, of course, disturbing because it has Gene Simmons involved in it. So here's the headlines. Oh, jeez. From the good people of rock celebrities, Gene Simmons reacts to new Kiss merch idea, turning his tongue into a pleasure toy. What my question is, Doc, what took so long at this point?
Dude, that's what I was thinking. This wasn't done already? What is this, a new and improved model? Because surely they must have done this
My
before, but
gosh,
no.
crying out loud. And he found out about this proposal during the Howard Stern show. Howard Stern still going? I guess he must still be going.
He's on Sirius XM, I
Is
think,
he?
or something.
I
Yeah.
gave up on him when he said "f your freedom." When he told me to "f my freedom," then I gave up on him.
Oh, during the COVID?
COVID thing.
Yeah.
He's one of the big vaxxer dudes, and
Oh, yeah.
I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm just I don't take vaccines. You go ahead if you want. I just don't. That's just me, you know. And considering, yeah, it turned out pretty damn well. I got COVID for 4 days. It was like a flu, and boom, then it went away. There you go. Ooh, you're gonna die. F your freedom. Make them jab you. Yeah, yeah, you commie piece of crap, Howard Stern. Make them jab you, you piece of crap. You old, really, you pile of crap. Really. Oh God. Oh, so he's got a guy on his show named Sal Governali, who pitched
Governal, yeah.
who pitched a provocative new Kiss merchandise concept to the bassist. I call this idea "Head from the Demon Head." It's Gene Simmons' head with a flickering tongue, he says. Thousands of groupies have enjoyed your tongue. Now every woman can experience getting licked by Gene Simmons. And of course, Simmons responds positively to the unusual pitch. That is a seriously good idea, he says. Of course, these numbnuts. They, have they no taste? I don't know. What do you think, man? Jeez.
Sounds like I need to go on Shark Tank with that one, man. See what the
It's,
sharks think.
oh,
Honestly, I mean, yeah, I was thinking about,
oh,
why hadn't it already been done? It seems like, like I said, some version of it,
oh,
maybe not his
God.
whole face, with there. So I don't know, just
Yeah, yeah, well, oh, you boy, nah. Well, yeah,
some sort
just
of,
do it. Just do it.
yeah.
Just take it to the nth degree. Christ, really.
That window may have closed though. I think the women that find Gene attractive are kind of, past the vibrator
uh,
stage, maybe a little bit, but
well, yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, his groupies are now grannies and
yeah,
great grannies and whatnot.
maybe I missed
So,
the boat on that one. But yeah,
that doesn't nothing surprises me anymore though about him. Jeez, just really just retire already or something. Crying out loud.
maybe it'd
But
be
in
a
any
thing that
case,
the gay guys can get into or something, man. I don't know.
ay, ay, ay,
Maybe.
ay, ay. Oh, you got it. I'm gonna leave it at that. What a show! What a concert that was, man. That was really something. Good for Ozzy. Good for Sabbath. They went out on with a bang and very cool. And all this other news, these people, they just disgust me, Doc. But in any case, go ahead and take us home.
Yeah, no, it was quite a week. So yeah, I had a couple of really good stories, and we don't usually have our full amount because we talk so much about the Back to the Beginning show. But we'll catch up on everything next week, and well, we'll see if Sharon brings up who she kicked off by then. If it's not by then you know what, you're right.
Yeah,
Nobody's gonna
just go
care.
away.
Just forget about it. Yeah.
Just go away, you whore.
So we'll talk about that and whatever else comes up, as you know, and strikes our fancy. And hope you join us. Until then, have a great rock and roll filled week, everybody.